Hello, today I'll be demonstrating how to mask an XML file. From the workbench here, you can see that I have a sample XML file with some information in it that could be masked. To first pinpoint the PII that we want to mask, we need to configure our data classes and our masking rules. I have a default masking rule of FP, which is Format Preserving Encryption. And then I have some various data classes that I can use. Some data classes for emails, some data classes for phone numbers. But what is really specific and useful for files like XML is locational matchers, matching on the path to the PII in question. In this case, if you look here, you can see that within this XML we have a friends array, and within these friend elements we also have an attribute of name. So to target these friends, I have a sample location match here that demonstrates using something called XPath. It's a syntax used, you can look up online if you wish, that is for narrowing your match to particular locations. If you see here, I have a div friends friend name, and what that means is I'm looking within this friends array. There's two slashes, so therefore that means all friends will be matched upon, and then within it grab names. So that is a location matcher specifically for XML files. And so next we configure our DarkShield job to use these data classes. So we go into the wizard, and since it's a file, we'll go into the file wizard. We'll create our .dsc file. So this is where we'll actually select our data classes that we plan on using to match upon the data and then mask it. In my case, I'm just going to use emails, phone numbers, and then that location matcher that's going to be looking for the names. Next, we're going to provide the directory from which we're going to read from, and then the directory that we'll be writing to. So in my case, I actually have some connections already created, but I can show you quickly how to create one. To create the source and target that you're going to be reading and writing to, you would just indicate the files that you want to support for this search and masking job, and also the directory from which, in this case, that you can be reading from. And then likewise, you have to provide the target where you're going to be writing out the masked output to. If you're reading and writing to the same location, you will overwrite the original files, if that's what you want to do. Or if you write to a separate directory for your target, then you can preserve the original while having a masked copy. In my case, I'll just go ahead and select this out file connection. And all it really means is that I'm just writing to this out folder here. Then I click finish. And what's created from the wizard is this .dsc file. From the .dsc file, you can review the data classes and the masking rules that will be used, along with the source and the target. And then to simply run the job, you can run it from Workbench by right-clicking, do Run As, then Search and Mask. And the result of this is going to be a masked file do it in text. So if you look at this, you can see that the name Kathy Wynn at the root was not masked. It's because I provided a location within friends of names that I want masked. And if you see here, they were properly masked within this array while being left untouched outside of the array. On the other hand, I used some other matchers that were not location based, but based on the data itself to match on the emails. And they were masked both in these email attribute columns and also within this greetings sentence. You can tell the difference between an email and a location matcher based off of where it's located. So if you see this friends matcher using the X path, it's just within this location matcher section here. If you look here in this email section, there's this address, there's this pattern for matching on emails. And so therefore, when you look within this XML, any occurrences of emails are masked. Alternatively, if I wanted to, let's say, use names instead of, and match on like the data itself, the names, if you had like a set file lookup, a running list of names, or if maybe you had like a NER model that would just use, based on the context, find names, you could use data matchers for names instead. So I can demonstrate for you not using a location matcher, instead use our groups for data matches on names. So now I'm just using these data classes that are for names that are just data matchers, not matching on location. Let me just delete this. Okay. So now you can see I only have in this job now this names data class. It's a group matching on looking for first names, last names, and full names and such, but it's matching based on the data itself instead of location. And if you see here, any occurrence of what's considered a name based on the data itself will get masked. So based on your needs, you can use location matchers or data matchers within the semi-structure of a file called XML to match upon PII and mask it.